Hello everyone, and welcome. Today we walk through the extraordinary journey of a footballing prodigy. His meteoric rise, the internal dynamics of a famous club, and the transfer saga that could shake the global game. This is the story of Lamine Yamal. From the beginning, Lamine Yamal's name seemed destined for the spotlight. Born on July 13, 2007, in Espluc de Llobregat, just outside Barcelona, his path into football was shaped by a locality steeped in the culture of the game. Wikipedia 2 at a very young age. He showed promise, enough to attract the watchful eyes of scouts and coaches at one of the world's most recognized football academies, La Masia of FC Barcelona. Wikipedia: when a kid from the Barcelona region joins La Masia, there is often hope, there is often ambition, but in Yamal's case, the buzz around him soon turned into records, and the records into headlines. He progressed rapidly through the youth ranks, and by April 2023, at just 15 years, 9 months, and roughly 16 days, he made his first team debut for Barcelona in La Liga. Wikipedia Pod 1. That alone marks him as one of the youngest ever to step onto a professional field in Spain's top division, and certainly one of the youngest in the storied history of the club. From that moment on, he became more than just a youth prospect. He became one of the most talked about names in world football. His playing style, his flair, his audacity on the ball. Left-footed, lightning pace, exceptional dribbling, vision beyond his years. Observers quickly began to draw comparisons to past icons of Barcelona's identity. The shirt, the crest, the expectations, all converged. In the 2023 and 24 season and beyond, Yamal's involvement increased. He began to play more regularly for the first team, demonstrating maturity and impact. He became the symbolic bearer of the number 10 shirt at Barcelona, a shirt steeped in legend, born from Ronaldinho, carried by Messi, and now entrusted to a teenager. That in itself is a statement. The club were not hiding their mission. This young man is the future of Barcelona. Reports say his contract extension until 2031 further emphasizes that belief. El País. Let's pause here and reflect. At 17-18 years old, many footballers are still learning their craft, waiting for opportunities. Yamal was already making marks, scoring, assisting, influencing games. On the international stage as well, he featured for Spain, breaking records there too. Wikipedia Place 1. The narrative seemed set. La Masia to first team to legend in the making. But as with all great stories, there are twists. Because behind the scenes there were tensions. Because football is not only about the pitch, it's about relationships, ambitions, finances, identities. In recent reports, Yamal is described as frustrated at Barcelona. 442 POS 1. Why? Multiple factors. First, the dynamic with the coach, Hansi Flick. Public criticism, mixed messages, and the weight of being the club's future all add pressure. Some sources indicate that Yamal felt undervalued, or at least uneasy with certain public comments by the coach. Football 36. Second, the financial environment of Barcelona. The club has faced well-documented financial challenges. The lure of a mega offer for a young star creates both temptation and tension. Because if you accept one offer, you signal that you are willing to hand over your future. If you refuse, you must convince the player and the world that the long-term project remains viable. Third, the outside interest. And this is where the story takes a very dramatic turn. Reports show that Saudi club Al Hilal FC made a jaw-dropping offer for Yamal, initially cited at around 400 million placed on the table for the teenager. Football 3065 Probably Euro Weekly News. Probably VN Express International Flee. Another outlet cites a figure of US 4,600 new TN. VN Express International Flee. Whether you take 400 militards or USD 4060 flee. The magnitude is staggering. To put it in context, that would be significantly higher than any previous transfer fee, and would mark a seismic moment in the football transfer market. Barcelona reportedly rejected the offer. They declared their intention to keep Yamal and have him as part of their sporting project. Football 3065 Pond 1. And yet, the story is far from resolved. Because when such money is in play, and when a young talent is navigating expectations, ambitions and loyalty, things get complicated. Let's consider the implications. For Yamal himself, he stands at a crossroads. He has his home club, the academy that nurtured him, the number 10 shirt, the hopes of the fans. At the same time, he has his career ambitions, the global stage, and the possibility of exploring new frontiers. A massive offer can feel like validation, but also a gamble. Does he stay and build a legacy, or move early and seize an unprecedented opportunity? This is not just about money. Though money matters, it's about timing, growth, identity. For Barcelona, keeping Yamal means maintaining the heart of their future. It means saying we believe our project is sustainable. We believe our youth is our way forward. Letting him go, even for world record money, would mark a shift. Selling legacy for liquidity. They have to weigh sporting ambition against financial reality. And in recent years, Barcelona have had to make tough decisions. For global football, the story signals that the old hierarchies may be shifting. The fact that a teenager at Barcelona is facing a move to the Saudi Pro League via Al Hilal shows how new markets, new actors are entering the transfer arms race. It raises questions. Will world record transfers now flow away from Europe's traditional power centers? Will emerging leagues become destinations not just for top stars in their twilight, but for stars at their peak or just before? And that is why this saga matters far beyond one player, one club. Returning to Yamal's situation, we also see additional pressure points. He has had injury concerns, a groin or pubic area issue that led to warnings from Barca's medical staff about overload and recovery. Barca blaugranes add in the scrutiny of living up to comparisons with other superstar generations. Reports suggest Yamal still has pending numbers in terms of scoring and output. When compared with players like Kylian Mbappé, Cadena Serra put it together, a teenager with huge talent, massive expectations, internal friction, external interest, and physical variables. It becomes a crucible. Let's map the timeline more clearly. Early years, Yamal joins La Masia from La Torreta and other youth clubs. Develops rapidly. Wikipedia. April 2023. Debut for Barcelona first team at 15 years old. Records shattered. Wikipedia. 2023-24 onward. Regular appearances. Iconic number 10 shirt. Long-term contract until 2031. Il País. 2024 international success with Spain, for context, and heightened attention. Wikipedia. 2025 contract cemented, club giving faith, but also signs of tension. October 2025. Reports of the $400 million offer from Al Hilal. Barcelona's rejection. Yamal reportedly frustrated. Football 3065 pose, 2VN Express International 2. Concurrent, media reports of friction with coach, potential dissatisfaction, injury warnings. And now we stand in the present. The speculations continue. Will the next chapter be him staying and becoming the face of Barcelona's revival? Or will it be him moving and further shifting the transfer landscape? In your narration, I recommend building tension. Start with the childhood and promise. Ascend into the breakthrough, then bring in the external pressures and the transfer saga. Don't rush the part about the offer. Let the audience feel the gravity. Use rhetorical questions. What would you do at 18 if the world knocked at your door? What price do you place on legacy, on loyalty? Let's move into the deeper analysis, which will also help maintain audience retention, because we are now asking, what happens next? This is not just a story of what has been, it's a story of what might be. Scenario 1. Yamal stays at Barcelona. He continues to grow, becomes the club's anchor, leads them back to European prominence, develops into a generational star. The club reaps, sporting and branding returns. The fans rejoice. The narrative is clear, the meta story. Homegrown hero remains and redefines the era. Scenario 2. Yamal leaves, perhaps now or in the near future, for a massive sum to Al Hilal, or elsewhere. The transfer sets a new benchmark. Barcelona accept the offer, perhaps reinvest, but lose their crown jewel. The football world takes notice. The center of gravity shifts. Scenario 3. Stalemate. Yamal stays, but the friction remains. Ambition teases exit. Relationship with coach uncertain. The club's finances still under stress. Meanwhile, other clubs circle. The narrative becomes about internal stability, mental resilience, and whether the talent can stay grounded. As we dissect this, it is vital to highlight the variables: contract length and release clause. Reports claim Yamal has a release clause near 1 billion TARs. 4.42 POS 1. The contract until 2031 locks him in for now. Barcelona signaled their intent to hold on to him. Meanwhile, the offer from Al Hilal might have been for a 7-year deal. Another marker of how seriously the Saudi club were attempting. Football 36. Another element, the player's remuneration and value. Reports show Yamal is among the highest paid young footballers, with earnings reaching into the tens of millions. Reuters, when a player of 18 is already earning that much, it demonstrates how football's economics have transformed. But money alone doesn't tell the story. Identity matters. For Barcelona, Yamal is not a trade asset. He is a symbol. Letting him go would mean giving up on a vision of club first, youth development, La Masia legacy. For their fans, this is intangible but real. For Yamal, the decision is intensely personal. At 18, you still discover who you are as a footballer, a professional, a public figure. The move, if it happens, will shape not only his sporting legacy, but his brand and the perception of his career path. For the football world, this case raises larger questions. Are traditional European clubs still the only dream for young talents? Are emerging leagues now viable destinations for teenagers? What does this mean for competition, for player power, for club strategies? We must also note the human side, the pressure of expectation, the mantle of number 10, the scrutiny. Reports say Yamal must increase his goal output to match the hype, especially when compared to contemporaries like Mbappé. Cadena Ser, the club warned about his injury risk, due to heavy minutes at such a young age. Barca Blaugrans, a young body, big games, big expectations. All these create a challenging cocktail. In the final analysis, Lamine Yamal's story is still being written. The first chapters are dazzling. Youth, records, top club breakthrough. The next chapters may be even more complex. Ambition versus loyalty. Money versus legacy. Internal dynamics versus external opportunity. For Barcelona, the decision they make now will echo for years. For Yamal, the path he chooses will define not just his career but potentially reshape the narrative of modern football. So when we ask, will he stay or will he go? The answer will matter. Because if he stays, Barcelona may have secured their next long-term pillar, the heir to an identity. If he goes, the transfer could become a marker, the day when the global football map shifted. And for us, the fans, the watchers, the narrators of this story, we are witnessing a moment where talent, money, power, and destiny intersect. We should lean forward, we should pay attention, because this could become a defining saga of the modern game. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned. Because, as soon as new developments emerge, we will bring them to you.